is Eritha Akilé Cainion, running for District 6 City Council on a platform of radical solutions for these radical times. And I want to thank everyone here tonight and thank the committee to elect Jesse Neville for giving me this honor to speak in front of the community. So that was some video that we just saw. And it's been a raging topic here in the city of St. Pete as residents, this sewage crisis, this sewage scandal, the lies and the cover-up over what really happened, and that everything in that video that was said, that this sewage crisis could have been avoided. And I'm going to talk about that today. So I'm going to, first talk about some of the facts that were already said, and what was the real motive behind why this city had to have 256 million gallons of untreated sewage dumped into the Black community and to the Tampa Bay to affect the city overall, to clarify that motive, and also to talk about affordable housing, which Cainion is now denying the people affordable housing because now he's concerned about the sewage issue. So one of the facts that I wanted to say, and it's going to be relevant as I go further, is that downtown, as residents of the city we see, is expanding every single day. There's a new high-rise, there's a new condominium, there is a new restaurant. So just keep that in mind. So as it was said, the city ordered in 2014 a report to understand what would be the outcome of closing down our Whitted sewage plant. This was the downtown sewage plant. Yes. So this report came out in 2014. And that report explicitly said, warned the city that we would be vulnerable to sewage leaks if we closed down the Albert Whitted sewage plant. So Cainion, by the way, who denies ever having seen that report, although it was widely circulated throughout the entire city government, all of the workers saw it, even Eckerd College saw it, but the mayor did not see it. So the mayor closes down Albert Whitted sewage plant. So let's talk sensibility. Well, there is none. And I want to go back to the point of downtown continuing to develop. That increases the sewage flow in the city. So what sense does it make after 2014 a report comes out saying do not close Albert Whitted and that you're continuously building downtown and increasing the sewage flow? What sense does it make to close down the Albert Whitted sewage plant? Well, I'm going to help it make sense today. Because the real reason, the reality is, that sewage plant was closed for money. Right. The area which once located the downtown sewage plant is considered prime real estate by land speculators. And it's no secret that those are some of Cainion's biggest endorsers. And this is some facts to back that up. That area they were looking at for development. The city hired a Texan-based seafood company to conduct a $50,000 feasibility study on that land to assess whether or not it was ideal for a seafood cuisine factory. And other developers proposed condominiums on that land. So it is clear that the decision to close down the Albert Whitted sewage plant, it gave no thought to the people of the city. The Black community didn't get that report from 2014. We didn't get a vote to say to close Albert Whitted sewage plant. And the people of this city did not see the same report. The people did not get to decide whether Albert Whitted sewage plant was going to be closed down. Cainion and the corrupt city government made that decision on their own at the people's expense. So during the rainy season of 2016, sewage leaks as the waterways is now being redirected to the Southwest plant, which is inequipped to handle that much sewage. It is inequipped and has equipment from the 1970s. And all now of the wastewater that was being directed to Albert Whitted is going to the Southwest plant. And Cainion's first resort, again, his first resort was to dump that untreated sewage into the Black community, into Clam Bayou. That was the first resort. And then when that was being exposed, he reopened Albert Whitted. And then once it became impossible and he had to leak it out again, he decided, well, I don't want to leak it downtown. Now we have to leak it into the Tampa Bay. But the Black community was his first resort to leak that untreated sewage. Wow. So, all of that, we totaled over 256 million gallons of untreated sewage into the black community and into the Tampa Bay. And that's the only number we have because, as it was stated, the flow meter broke. So we don't know how many gallons of untreated sewage are out there today, making it impossible and unsafe for the residential areas of this community. And this, again, was all for economic gain at the expense of the people in this city. And we heard, and we're going to hear, some of the testimonies, some of the effects that this has had on the people in this city. I'm running for District 6 City Council. I was out in the black community just 2 Saturdays ago, knocking on the doors, meeting my community face to face, and asking them questions about this sewage crisis, and they were outraged. Absolutely outraged, because every time it rains, it floods, and the water gets in their homes, in their water that they have been living in their houses, owning those homes. Their water that was once clear is now a tinted yellowish brown, and these are conditions that are absolutely unacceptable, and somebody has to be held responsible for that. It is inexcusable that every time I have to turn on the faucet in my home, I have to let it go for 5 to 10 minutes to just air out the smell, because you can't drink from it, you can't even exist in it because it smells so bad. And you drive down the street and every time it rains, you smell this. This is our reality, and Kreisman hasn't taken responsibility for it. And that study that we saw cannot be understated about the bacteria that is resistant to antibiotics in these waters. And it is affecting the people and has serious health implications. So now, how does affordable housing fit into all of this? Well, Kreisman thinks it doesn't, actually. Because a couple of weeks ago, at a meeting at Tropicana Field, which is another contradiction, the people demanded for more affordable housing. And Kreisman says no, because all of a sudden now we have to fix the sewage infrastructure. But I'm saying that fixing the sewage and creating affordable housing is not mutually exclusive. And that these campaigns for radical solutions during these radical times, and Jesse's double campaign with Unity Through Reparations, makes this a reality, makes this possible, and we're showing the way forward to do that. These are the people's campaigns, and the peoples will solve the problems of the city, not corrupt the city government.
Wow, right on.
The city now, to say that they're so worried about the sewage infrastructure when they're constantly building downtown, or to say that now resources are a problem when they just spent $80 million for a new police station across the street from the current one just to make it more green, or when they're creating these useless executive positions and paying these high dollars for those, or when they're, again, building high-rise after high-rise or approving $14 million for a pier. Why isn't all of those unnecessary expenses not being spent on affordable housing? Right. We can make it happen. We can make it happen.
Put the money where it belongs.
Because the resources in this city's budget exist, and the city government is deciding how it's used, and the people have no access, the people have no ability to determine that. But these campaigns bring power back to the people so that we get to say how our money is spent. And we said we want affordable housing and to fix the sewage infrastructure. We're going to do that. People didn't ask for a police station. And again, it is a basic human right to have housing. You can't deny that to the people. And I want to mention Tropicana Field again. Because Tropicana Field literally sits on a graveyard of 800 homes, businesses, churches, schools, hair salons, barbershops, movie theaters, grocery stores, all of that existed in the black community. And the Tropicana Field Stadium sits right on top of that. And the Rays want to leave, and we say, well, go ahead. You can go. But the dome belongs to the black community. That land we can build affordable housing. That's a whole lot of land we can build affordable housing. And that's reparations to the black community. And we can implement rent control for low and middle income households and all those boarded up, inaccessible homes that are made inaccessible to the black community. We see all these across the black community, and we don't own them. Our community does not own them. Land grabbers, people like Carl Nurse own those homes. We need to open up those homes, turn them over to the black community. That's affordable housing. And when we create more affordable housing throughout the black community and throughout the city, that decreases the pressure off the entire housing market so we can see rent go down for everybody throughout the entire city. This benefits the entire city. No one living at the expense of anybody else. So everybody has a stake. Everybody has a stake in this. Rebuilding the sewage infrastructure and creating affordable housing are both achievable once you place the needs and the interests of the people first. So I want to close out by saying this. First, we need a mayor who's going to take responsibility for the damages of this city, even if they weren't the ones to create the problem. They're going to come in, they're not going to turn their backs, they're not going to clean their hands, say that they didn't cause the situation. They're going to answer to the people, and they're not going to toss the blame around. We need a truly progressive mayor who is not afraid to stand up to the people, who goes against the status quo, because closing Albert Whitted for profit is the status quo. Not taking responsibility is part of the status quo. Not creating affordable housing is part of the status quo. We need a mayor against the status quo. A progressive mayor with an agenda of reparations and economic development for the black community as a starting point to righting this entire city, uniting this entire city. It has to start with reparations and economic development to the black community for overall prosperity for the entire city. No one living at the expense of anybody else. And that mayor, without a doubt, is going to be up here shortly after me, Jesse Neville. I know it is. So again, I want to thank everyone out here tonight. I want to thank the committee to elect Jesse Neville for allowing me to be able to speak up here in front of you all. I want to thank the people. Together we can win both the seats of District 6 and the mayor, because these are our seats. These are the people's seats. We represent the people. We are fighting for the people. We are not in the interest of the corrupted city officials. We're not in their interest of the big money developers, banks, or anything like that. We work for you. Again, Eritha, Akilé, Cainion, Radical Times, Radical Solutions. Thank you so much.